I think what's really being exposed here is how much the Zionists have infiltrated all of these institutions that were sold as right-wing culture war institutions like PragerU,
Right.
like Babylon Bee. All of these things are getting exposed as really being run by IDF veterans who are backed with Israeli money. I mean, Turning Points USA was backed with Zionist money, and that's part of why, theoretically, he was getting this kind of pushback. And I think, based on Max's reporting, based on what Candace said on her show last night.
In May, Charlie was concerned about Israel and their influence on American politics and how they were pushing things that he felt were in conflict with his beliefs, free speech.
Who, based on her conversations with Charlie Kirk, yeah, he was getting all this pressure. That's like you took the mafia's money,
Right.
and then you didn't do the job that they gave you the money for. You start speaking out of turn, and you know how these people are. You know, they made a whole movie kind of like examining the spiritual angst around assassination, Munich.
Yeah.
Right, where they were kind of examining that. So you you're openly admitting that assassination is kind of built into the Zionist project.
Yeah.
So whether they didn't, whether they MK Ultra'd this kid to be a patsy, which frankly I kind of suspect something like that, it's really blowing up this whole illusion that these right-wing institutions are not bought and paid for. When I went to the Dissident Dialogues, that was where I met Brianna, where she was just treated very badly by the crowd and on that stage. That was where I really saw that. That was where I really saw these people are being paid by somebody. They're being paid by somebody because it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense. You're going to have this whole conference that's all about how you're a dissident. It's called Dissident Dialogues, and you're against speech codes and you're for freedom of speech. But you just happen to have a foreign policy that could as easily come off the desk of Jim Baker as Antony Blinken. Like, this is the one area where there's no diversity of opinion. You just all land in the same place on that without any money behind it, without you being an operative. They're all operatives in that anti-woke, defend Western civilization space. They're all controlled.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that here's what I would say. I have no idea if Israel had a role or not. There's definitely something weird and suspicious about the circumstances surrounding the shooting. There's no question that this Israel thing needs to be looked into, even if it's just to say, like, why are they so invested in responding to this? Like, why is there such a PR push, right? At the least conspiratorial, like that is important information and important analysis for us to do. I mean, I also thought that the trans thing was so weird. Like, they seemed really wanting for there to be a trans angle.
Yeah, before they ever found anybody.
Yeah, and there wasn't any evidence of it, right? Well, it literally was like the markings on the bullet were TRN, and the Wall Street Journal reported on that as trans ideology.
And then they had to retract it, I believe.
Yeah, that dog doesn't seem to be hunting. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be the theory with the most traction online is clearly the Israel theory.
Yeah,
I mean, there's no question about that.
But did you notice that Dana Bash actually pushed back?
And so we've got the shell casings, other forensic evidence that is coming in, and trying to piece all of those things together.
You said that the roommate is being very helpful. Has that individual explained to law enforcement what the mindset of the shooter was and whether or not it is connected to his ideology or his situation as transitioning, as you just described?
I'm not sure about that piece right now, Dana.
Okay, so we're not sure if the fact that he was romantically involved, as you say, with his partner who is transitioning is relevant to the motive of the murder based on the investigation.
Sure. Again, all of these things are we're trying to figure it out. I know everybody wants to know exactly why and point the finger, and I totally get that. I do too. And so I just want to be careful, as I haven't read all of the interview transcripts, and so we'll have to wait and see what comes out.
Yeah, but obviously she's a big Zionist, and it is interesting that she. And here you have this conservative who's like being much more sensitive about trans stuff than Dana Bash is. I mean, Dana Bash sounds like she's on Fox News. She's like, is that why? Did that have anything to do with the motivation? She asked him twice, and this guy's trying to like diffuse the situation a little bit, even though he's been he keeps saying that he had leftist ideology. And I don't think that that's true.
If you look at if you look at, as I'm sure Russell and Keaton already know, the released text messages that this person texted the roommate that might also be some sort of a partner as well.
Yeah.
I read a little bit of it. Yeah, here's the thing, like nobody's buying any of what they're saying.
Well,
they're not credible in anything.
Well, to me, reading through those, it really made it seem on the face of it that roommate person had no awareness that was what if this person did that they had an awareness of it ahead of time, and then coupled with the fact that they immediately started cooperating with law enforcement. But based on what the FBI or the official story seems to be, correct me if I'm wrong, is that there's video of this person walking to this event and has a very noticeable, basically like his right leg, he can't bend it, and the explanation is that the bolt action rifle is down the leg of his pants. But then immediately after the shooting, and then there's security footage of him going up the stairs, and you can see both of his legs bending. And then and I'm pretty sure in between that he changes his shirts, like he's wearing a maroon shirt, then he changes to a black shirt, and then he gets up on this roof, does this shooting, and then instantaneously has the time to disassemble this firearm. Just that when I going by what they're saying, it just seems to fall apart when you think through the logistics of this and how it's like, wait, how would this be it? Because over here, this is it. It just seems like whatever the actual explanation is, current official explanation, it just doesn't, to me, on a gut level. I'm like,
kosher.
Not kosher. It's not kosher.